Trouble Busters!
Hi, I'm Haley. I live with my husband Alex and our kindergarten daughter. I was pregnant with our second baby, and we'd be a family of 4 in a few months. Unlike big cities, there are only a few OBGYN in the rural town I live. So I decided to go to the same hospital where I gave birth to our first daughter. One day, I had a prenatal checkup appointment. Alex usually drives me to the checkups, but my daughter was sick that day and needed to rest at home. Of course, I couldn't leave my sick daughter home alone, so I let Alex stay home to take care of her, and I went to the hospital by public transportation. I managed to arrive at the hospital with my heavy pregnant belly, but the waiting area was very crowded. There are 2 OBGYNs at the hospital. If a premature birth occurs, there will only be 1 outpatient doctor, and that's why appointments are delayed often. That's why it's always packed here. Since I took public transportation this time, I couldn't wait in the car with Alex like usual. I had no option but to go inside and wait in the crowded waiting area. After checking in at the reception, I found an empty seat in the waiting room. As I was walking toward the empty seat, a man came out of the washroom.
Oh no! Someone took my seat! Wait, there's an empty spot! Yeah!
What? Is he serious? And he rushed to the empty seat and sat down like a musical chairs game. Anger level 30%. It wasn't just me who was surprised by this man. The pregnant woman sitting next to him was also shocked and froze. The man ignored her and sat with his legs wide apart. Then he took out a portable fan and started cooling himself down. On top of that, he took a bag of popcorn out and started munching on it. The waiting area soon stank up. Everyone was already impatient because of the long wait, but I could feel the tension getting worse after this man came.
I was right to bring some snacks. The wait time is too long here. It's so annoying to see so many people in the hospital. What if I catch the flu or something? Do they even sanitize here properly?
Says the one who didn't wash his hands after using the washroom and eats popcorn?
Why do patients bring so many people with them to the hospital anyway? No wonder the waiting area is so packed. It's so annoying!
Are you even listening to yourself? Anger level 60%. I wanted to complain to my husband, so I messaged him. Alex, this is absolutely insane. I'll definitely come to the hospital by car from now on.
What happened? Is it because the hospital is crowded and you have to wait long again?
The hospital is always so crowded. Too many people are here to accompany the patients, but there aren't enough seats. Some pregnant women, including me, have to stand against the wall while waiting.
Are they serious? That's so bad. Can you ask someone who doesn't look like a patient to give you a seat?
I know, but it's hard to tell. What if someone has a bad knee and needs to sit down? It's so difficult to ask.
I guess you're right. The hospital has other patients too.
Exactly. I mean, I can stand and wait. But here's the thing. I know I'm complaining a lot, but this big man came in when I was going to sit down, right?
Whoa!
He rushed to the seat like it was a musical chairs game. He almost knocked me over.
What's wrong with him? Can't he see you're pregnant?
Anger level 90%. I wanted to say something, but he's a scary-looking middle-aged man wearing a flashy shirt and sunglasses indoors. He looks like someone I'd never want to mess with. He'll most likely yell, "So what if you're pregnant? I don't care." He probably came with a pregnant woman. I just hope he'd be more considerate to other pregnant women, too.
I'm sorry, Haley. None of this would have happened if I drove you to the hospital.
It's not your fault, Alex. How's our daughter?
Don't worry. She ate and she's taking a nap now. Come home safe, Haley.
Oh, I'm relieved. You're doing great. I'll do my best and wait my turn. I felt much better after I complained to my husband. Some other men were sitting in the waiting area as well. There was a family that occupied the entire bench. All the seats were taken, and there were other pregnant women standing, waiting beside me. Frustration level 100%. Oh, I'm pissed! Why can't people be more considerate and show some care? Help, Trouble Buster! When I was thinking of asking the receptionist to get some extra chairs for us, a pregnant woman came out of the doctor's office. She looked much younger than me, probably in her 20s. She dyed her hair blonde and was wearing a zip-up hoodie from a popular teenage brand. She was smiling and chatting with another pregnant woman while walking back to the seating area. But she scowled at the big man the moment she saw him sitting in the chair. She walked up to him and said, "Hey, why are you sitting here while pregnant women are standing?"
What?
Look around you. Pregnant women are standing. I'm asking you while you're ignoring them and sitting like you own the place.
I'm sorry, Alina. Don't get mad. The baby can hear you, you know.
Says the person who's actively embarrassing his future grandson. How can you sit here so comfortably and proudly leaving pregnant women standing? This is OBGYN, remember? Haven't I also told you to close your legs when you sit in a public space? Why does this lady sitting next to you have to suffer and endure your selfish attitude? How long are you going to sit there for? Why don't you get up? Are you pregnant too? Is there a baby in that fat belly of yours? No, right? It's just beer, isn't it?
Stop! Don't slap my belly! Fine, I'll stand up, all right?
I told you I didn't need you to drive me, but you made a fuss and insisted on coming with me. Even my husband can't bear to come with you.
That's because...
Because what? How come you've never shown the same kindness to your wife before? Mom told me you'd never go to the pregnant checkups with her. You were drinking with your friends outside, even when she told you she was about to give birth. And you'd also never helped once after I was born. That's why she divorced you, remember?
You're right.
But when I told you I was pregnant, you started to drive me to checkups and stuff so you can, what, see your grandchild? Isn't it all too convenient for you? If I knew you'd be acting like an animal at the hospital, I wouldn't have contacted you in the first place. I'm not going to let my son call you Grandpa until you change that attitude.
Alina, you're going to be a mother soon. The way you talk...
What? I talk the same way as you. What's the problem? Why don't you reflect on yourself before telling me to change my language and attitude?
Okay.
The big man in the flashy shirt was actually the blonde girl's father. He stood up immediately, but for some reason, he looked smaller after being scolded by his daughter. He lowered his head and quietly stood behind her. The angry girl turned to the waiting area, smiled, and said, "I'm very sorry, everyone, for yelling in the hospital. I'd like to apologize for the inconvenience my senseless father caused. It's crowded here, and he really should have given his seat to patients." Those men who had been sitting and ignoring the pregnant women around them all stood up at once. They either went to stand against the wall or left the waiting area. The family who took up the whole bench also said they'd wait in the car and went out. The waiting area seatings became empty, and all the pregnant women were able to sit down. Who is this girl? I almost applauded her for solving the problem for us so efficiently. Other pregnant women were also relieved that they could finally sit down. Their eyes sparkled, looking at the girl as if she were their childhood hero. When the girl was paying her bill at the reception, I heard the receptionist apologizing to her. "I'm sorry. We should have spoken to the people in the waiting room." "No worries. It's all good. Those who came with the patients might also not feel well or have a bad leg, right? You never know. So I don't think the hospital can ask people to give their seats. It's easier for someone like me, who tends to make a scene, to just say it out loud for everyone. Oh, but maybe it's a good idea to put a sign on the wall for everyone to see." "You're right. It should also be included in the visiting information." "Sounds good. I'm sorry for the trouble today. Hey, Dad, you need to come and apologize too."
My apologies.
"All right, see you next time." She left the hospital with a smile. Later, I had my checkup. Everything went smoothly, and the baby was growing healthily. I told the story to my husband when I got home. He said, "It'd be nice if you could meet her again at your next appointment." Later, I realized my due date was close to that girl's due date. She was in the bed next to mine when I was in the hospital after giving birth to my second child. You probably don't remember this, but I was there that day you got angry at your father for not giving his seat to the patients. I finally sat down after the seats were emptied. I had to wait about an hour for my checkup, so I was so glad and thankful that I could sit down. No, don't thank me. I was loud and didn't do anything. But my father has decided to change, and he's doing his best to correct his bad habits so he can see his grandson. Can you forgive him? Of course. I'll learn to speak my mind too, just like you. Now you're making me blush. This girl might look like a toughie, but she is indeed a very nice and fun person. We became good friends in the hospital, and now we're mom friends who message each other every day. Trouble Busters!